This wife just destroyed her marriage because she believes that her son comes first before her husband. You might be asking, well, why would she say that? Well, because he's a stepdad.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
But it gets worse. She went on to clarify that if he wasn't the stepdad and was the real dad, she would actually put him first. I want you to think about how crazy that is, because that's something that a lot of men complain about who have been stepfathers to warn other men as to reasons why they should not be. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks that stepdads shouldn't exist and single mothers never get married. No, I believe it happens, but it does not happen. I'm talking about marriage for a lot of single mothers because of this exact same reason, because it's typically not a good deal for most men. And that has a lot to do with the mindset of the mother when it comes to her kids, and the stepdad being the last priority in that household. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
So my husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him. And what do you know? Now we're getting divorced. Let's talk about parenting for one moment.
Let's talk about it.
My soon-to-be ex-husband and I have been together for over 10 years, and my son is 11 years old. So it's not that just a couple of years that my soon-to-be ex-husband has been around.
Sure.
He has seen first steps, first words, first day of kindergarten, first day of every single grade. He's seen big milestones. He's watched sporting games. He has watched this kid grow up. And my son is a really good kid. And I know that a lot of mothers say that, but I really mean it. My son has manners, please and thank you. He's very sweet. He never argues with me. He is so kind, so intelligent, and so emotionally mature. I will address people in the comments very briefly. I have some people that are saying, why would you marry someone when you knew they didn't love their kid? Oh my God, we didn't start there. Oh my gosh, we did not start there. I did not marry my husband knowing that he didn't love my son. This is a very recent issue. This is a conversation that we had on December 1st, our 10-year anniversary, when he told me that he really doesn't like my son and that he resents him for the fact that I put him first and that my son is priority to me above anything else. And you know what? That's okay, because that's never going to change.
There you go. There you go. So she wants us to believe that everyone in that household up until this point has been having a great time. Well, obviously, your husband over time, because he hasn't always felt that way, not just based on my opinion, but based on what she just said. He hasn't always felt that way. But it's through his experience and seeing you prioritize your son before your husband, treating him like he's a third-class citizen in the household, respecting your son more than your husband. That's how he's arrived to the conclusion where he probably doesn't feel so great about your son. Are we just supposed to take her word for it that her son is amazing and there's nothing wrong with him whatsoever? Would your husband agree, or soon-to-be ex-husband agree? Probably not. Again, this is exactly why a lot of men today are cautious when it comes to playing that stepdad role. Is she believes that he should be honored to be in this type of dynamic where he comes dead last. Because I assure you, she's not putting herself last. Right? It's the son, and she expects to be prioritized, and he comes dead last. The question is, do you want this type of dynamic for yourself? And listen, I'll always add nuance to this conversation because a lot of people don't. There are single mothers out here who understand that this is a recipe for disaster, that most men are not going to be cool with this type of dynamic where you're saying, well, yeah, my kids always come first and you will come last. I don't care what you think. That's just how it's going to be. Is he at fault for signing up for this from the very beginning? I would probably agree with you a little bit on that point for sure. A quick word about the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. While having a conversation with one of the expert attorneys in our prenup guide, he made a pretty shocking statement. He said, everyone has a prenup when they get married. He went on to say they're called divorce laws. And if you don't draft your own prenup, the government writes one for you. That means politicians and courts you have never met will decide what happens if your marriage ends. And while every husband, like myself, hopes that our marriage ends till death do us part, The reality is over 50% of marriages today end in divorce. So the real question here is, do you trust strangers to write your prenup, or do you want to write it with the woman you are marrying? If you'd like to take charge and learn how to draft your own prenup, hit the link pinned to the top of the comments section and take the first step in securing your marriage today.
So on December 1st, when we had that conversation, that's when I knew I was done. Okay, that's when I knew I was finished. I'm like, I'm so gone. Like, you don't love this child that you have raised kind of for 10 years, this kid that you've seen grow up, this kid that is a direct reflection of me, because I have poured everything in my life into raising him properly. You're going to tell me that you don't love him and that you want me to put you, a 33-year-old man, first over raising an 11-year-old boy? Absolutely not. So on our 10-year anniversary, I told him, I said, yeah, I'm done. You need help. You need to go to therapy. And he said, okay, Taylor, let's go to therapy. Like, let's try to figure this out. And I said, great. Okay. January is your month. You have to hire the therapist, book the appointment. You know my schedule with work. Just tell me when to be there and I will be there. But this is your time to shine. If you want to repair this, then you can do all of the things for therapy.
And this is exactly how you'd be treated if you marry or deal with a single mother like this. It's all on you. I want you to fight for it. She wants to see you fight for it. This is terrible. Your significant other, your wife, is supposed to come first before your children. Point blank, period. Any woman that doesn't understand that, you should not deal with.
Do you think he did any of that? Ladies, do you think he did any of that? No. Now, I realize that everyone does parenting differently. And I'm not saying that my way is the right way or the wrong way. I don't know that there really is like a hard line of right and wrong way of parenting. But my son is not my soon-to-be ex-husband's child. Now, if he were his child, that would be a different story. I would choose to put my husband first because it's a direct reflection of how a man and a wife should be, and it should be a good example. But because that's not the case, I am responsible for raising an 11-year-old boy to make sure that he turns out to be a decent human being. I'm responsible for giving him experiences. I'm responsible for taking care of him financially. I'm responsible for making sure that my child feels safe, secure, loved, and that he can come to me comfortably and talk to me about anything. That is my job. It is not my job to do that for a 33-year-old man. And contrary to popular belief, his happiness is not my responsibility. And anyone else, please listen. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone, your partner's happiness is their responsibility. The way that they feel about life and walk through life is a direct reflection of the work that they put in, what goes through their mind on a daily basis. And while you're there to support them as a partner, their happiness, general in life, is not your responsibility. My 11-year-old child is 100% my responsibility. And I'm going to take that to the grave. Like I believe that fully, entirely, wholeheartedly. So I will never put a man above my 11-year-old child.
Yeah. Run away from this type of chick with this type of mindset. Unless if you love being miserable, which you will be. She knows the right thing to do. You heard her say it herself. She said, hey, if he was the biological father of this child, then I would put him first. I would prioritize him more. I don't think that single moms understand that this is a very real issue and problem with men. Why would any man of any worth, right, be put in this position? Eventually he'll snap out of it like this man is. But you hear it for yourself. She knows what she's doing. She just admitted that she would treat the biological father of her child. Think about that. She's like, if that man was still here, which he probably still exists, right? If they were still together, he would definitely get better treatment than you. Think about that. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee. It'll make you feel better.
Terrible.
And the next person I find, not that I'm really even thinking about that at all,
Yes,
will
you
understand that and will understand what I've been through, or I will not be with anyone else.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I feel like all I really need right now is my son. He needs me and I need him. And that's just kind of where I'm at. So
there you go. There you go. Top comment here says, I'm on his side. Ha ha ha. Shout out to this dude. And somebody else responded back to that and says, then you go and marry him. Of course, they're angry. Somebody else here added reasons why you never take single moms seriously. Somebody else here responded back and says, not lonely enough yet. So they're over here having a fight in the comment sections.
Father's Day is the worst holiday ever, right? Especially when you're a stepdad. So I have 2 stepdaughters.
You've heard it from the horse's mouth. This guy is known for being a great stepdad online. Let's hear what he got to say.
So we get to Home Depot, right? I was like, you want me to wait in the car? Because I'm thinking she's trying to surprise me. Now you can come on, I need you to pay. You need me to pay? All right, bro, whatever. So we're in there. She's like, what do you think my dad will like? And yo, my heart broke. My heart broke, but I got to keep it pimping.
And I say it's an issue. But this guy is a fantastic father figure. Or at least that's what he portrays himself to be online. He himself is saying that there is no merit in being a stepdad. He does everything for those kids. But he did say their father is in their lives and he's a great man too. But what you got to understand is, those ain't your kids. And he understands that he's ain't going to keep it pimping.
Because they parents is always going to reap the benefits of your hard work.
And he is going to be alone on Father's Day. After taking care of them kids for years, seeing them every day, treating them like they his kids, loving them like they his kids, he finna be alone on Father's Day. He ain't finna get no gifts on Father's Day. Or maybe he might get something. He might get a little something. And at the end of the day, they don't call him dad. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from him. It's a L.
Step parents, period, there's no benefits. How would I benefit from helping him to raise his kid? If you marry a man and he has a child, if he's on child support and he falls behind on his payments, they coming after the wife's money. It's a very big risk. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to raise a child. It's expensive. Why would I invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into something that will never be mine? You can't do something as detrimental as having a child out of wedlock. And then after you make that piss poor decision, then now all of a sudden the community got to come and help you. That doesn't make any sense. You got people who have multiple kids out of wedlock. It's not like it was a one-time thing. Now you're putting their piss poor decision, you putting the responsibility on the backs of those who are responsible. That's not fair.
Somebody else here says, why do I feel we're not getting the full story? And somebody else here added, there is another woman. That's all there is, of course, right? You're just going to make that up in your mind. And she went and liked this comment, of course, to throw people off. Somebody else here added, never put a man before your kids, bio or not. These chicks are insane. These chicks are insane. If a woman does not understand that you come first as the husband before the children, then that's a woman that can be easily manipulated by kids. That's a woman who you can't build a strong foundation in marriage, right? That's also the type of woman who thinks that her sons are going to stay with her whole life. And when she finally leaves, she becomes a burden to those sons instead of having a man in her life. And she's complaining on TikTok, talking about how she's lonely.
You take care of a kid that's not yours.
My stepson, sure.
I just want to compliment you. I think that's like I think it's a courageous thing. It's the right thing to do, and it's an incredibly mature thing.
For me, I look at him, my stepson, as an extension of my daughters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's who he is, and he's my child. After you're 18, though.
Just two grown men.
No, I love my kids like they're my own. My stepmother told me, listen, you're about to be a stepdad. It's the most thankless job in the world. You have to give the same love and energy and the same support as a parent, but you will most likely, for a very long time, not get any appreciation or respect for it, and you have to override nature because you are not bonded to this child by nature, and almost every other animal will kill that baby in the wild because it is not theirs.
Yeah.
So you have to override systems that are so deeply embedded in you that it's very difficult, and what you have to do is just say, this is the hard thing, but it's the right thing, and you have to keep doing that over and over and over again. So that's why I do that. God, I hope he kills me in a that would be poetic play this at my funeral.
So much truth to that. We've done so many podcasts on some of those ideas, and it is true. Bottom line is, I love what he said at the end. You just do what's right. Sometimes as stepdads, we just step up and do what's right. It may go against nature, but we're going to do what's right.
You left out a very important part, and don't worry about my look. I went out last night and the time was had, okay? You're forgetting one very important fact. This only applies to the men who don't have any children. If you are a man who has not had children, I agree with this 100%. Don't go be no stepdaddy. Find a woman who has no kids. Because oftentimes there is no respect, there is no love, there is no appreciation shown to stepfathers. Sometimes, not all the time. And the same goes for women. Ladies, if you don't have any children, please do not attach yourself to a man who got kids if you don't have to. You have worked hard to make sure that you protected your body and you made sure that you didn't have any children. Don't attach yourself to a man that got kids. But you are forgetting about all the men that already got kids. You are forgetting about the men that have been married, divorced, and now they come with children themselves. They got kids from previous relationships. Those are the men who need to be stepdaddies because they are coming to the table immediately making the woman a stepmama. Just don't forget that part.
Another comment here says, being in a kid's life for 10 years and not loving them is diabolical. He didn't say he didn't love the kids for 10 years. It sounded like he started to change his mind. This is the reality of playing a stepdad role. This is the reality. Somebody else here says spouse comes first. Right. This is craziness. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.